Greetings and Namaste. New year, new goal, a new resolution. I know the resolutions is the thing, and we would at some point in time we would have taken a resolution, or mostly the commonly the new year resolution. And I thought talking on this topic of resolution would definitely help. What if I tell you that 92% of the resolutions fail within the second month of the year, and why it is so? And when I tell you, it's not only about willpower, it's not only about writing those goals and marking that as a to-do list, but it's actually about changing the vibrations, changing your energy pattern, changing your mindset to get things in life and achieving your resolution. It becomes really difficult when it becomes a to-do list, as if the biggest resolution out here that goes around, and that is, I will be losing the weight. And people tend to fail at times, and some do achieve, but here's why people usually achieve the resolution. My name is Vishal Shevle, and I'm here to talk about resolution. And how do you take a resolution? How do you manifest it much faster, much easier? I have been meditating for a couple of years now, and one of the techniques that I learned from a spiritual master, which I would be sharing with you at the end of this video, so stay tuned. Before we land up upon the exact know-how on how do you take a resolution, which is going to help for sure, but here's what resolution is. Resolution is a resolve taken to achieve a certain goal or manifest a certain goal. Okay. Somehow these resolutions fail or dropped across during the given days or months, and we lose the confidence. And I've heard some people saying, oh, don't take the resolutions, and it did happen with me too. At some point in time I took resolution that didn't materialize, then resolution doesn't work for me. But believe me, by knowing how to take a resolution and sticking out, practicing those things that is necessary to get the resolution done, if you do that and stick to the plan, things definitely work. And believe me, the X factor plays the big shift. How do you take the resolution? So let's see, first and foremost, why does resolutions really fail? The first one that comes across is, and I'm sure you people must have heard that people asking you, what is your new year resolution? And I'm sure you must have not taken a resolution, you must not have given a thought, but somehow something was missing in life, and then you say, oh, my new resolution is I have to lose weight. My new year resolution is I have to travel to Europe, I have to travel to Ladakh, or I have to buy a certain thing. Now I'm sure you must have not taken a resolution in a certain way, and taking a resolution in a certain way definitely helps to use to activate those neurons that is going to stick to and show you the path which and where to go. The second one is, so the first one stage is how do you take a resolution? That's one. The second one is that the big thing it fails is the limiting beliefs. We say we want to achieve and earn money, we want to achieve wealth, but the beliefs that have been built, and these beliefs, believe me, are not only your thoughts, but they are actually, we somewhere at point in time we gave a year and accepted it, and it became a belief. Oh, does money goes on trees? And of course not, but the hyperbole is money is not easy to earn. So guess what, that's how it would be. And now when you take a resolution about money, that limiting belief is going to show up. Same as if you take a resolution for your health, and I've seen people telling this, oh, I live life for food. Really live life for food? Or you have, if you give out a real thought, you must have heard that some guy who's with a lot of wisdom telling you, oh, I live for food. And can you ask him, really? Don't accept it bluntly, because what happens is, if you live only to have food, I mean, the whole objective changes. When you take a resolution for your health and when you are resoluted to only live for food, what happens is you would have a lot amount of food. And believe me, if I say, yes, I love food, I'm a foodie, but the definition of being foodie and being loving food is different. Let's say a chef who is good at cooking. Now, how does he taste the food? I mean, taking that one morsel, getting it, and he tastes that food. That's enough. But the repeated activity of gulping that food is not what a foodie does. Hope this changes the perception, the perspective. Being a foodie doesn't mean you have a lot amount of food. Having with awareness is what the foodie is. That's how. So shifting that beliefs, killing those limiting beliefs comes really handy. The third thing that I feel why the resolutions fail is because priority and focus. In the real world, in today's real world, when we see Instagrams, the reels, and on all the media channels, it's just moving down. You see, any thought to register for a while as an emotion takes at least few moments to being there, giving out thought, hearing it out, thinking it over, repeating that what you have learned, and then it goes into just like how do you fall in love. It's like, people say love at first sight. I mean, that's okay. You know that you have fallen in love, something connects. But over a period of time, when you meet people, when you express, when you do certain things for repeated time, that's how the love grows. And it binds together as a character. Today, with the reels moving on with the quick seconds, each 30-second reels moves out on a different subject. One, you see a subject of love. The another, you see a subject of war. The another subject you see about business. The another subject that you see of investments. The another subject that you see is of trading. Another subject that comes across talks about mindset. Now, listening to so much of information, guess what? Nothing is processed. It is just consumed as information. So here's the big tip out here is, if you want to have a clear value, believe me, I am not talking that the social media is bad or the reels are bad. At some point in time, yes, because you spend a lot amount of time. But if you want to really learn, at least spend 10 minutes of time on a video, a genuine 10 minutes of time, then repeating what you have learned, then thinking it over. And that's how the learning grows. One is, if you watch any of social media channel for entertainment, now that's okay, because a lot of information just flows through. Don't look as an education. Its entertainment is still okay. But if you want to be really learning well, spending at least good 10 minutes of time, repeating it, and then giving it a thought. And that's clears the loop, gets the loop done. So the third thing is focus and priority. With all the channels and all the things moving across and priorities of life, the family life, the corporate life, the career life, the friends, your personal life, and everything takes a backseat. You just move across in different directions with a lot of information, but nowhere to reach. Because too much of information is being fed and the focus and a priority is lost completely. The famous story from Mahabharata is called as, and Mahabharata is good as well because the spelling goes in English, Mahabharata. So the big story out here is about Arjuna and Guru Dronacharya. In the big one, when the Arjuna was holding, when Guru Drona was taking the exam, so-called exam, and he was holding the bow and arrow, and he was about to shoot at the bird's eye, Guru Drona asked, "Hey Arjuna, what are you looking at? What are you able to see?" And Arjuna replied, "I can see the bird's eye," because that was his target. And the other student out there gave all the answers. I could see sky, I could see bird, I could see the bird's eye, and they were sent back. Now the Arjuna was the one where Guru Drona said, "Yes, you fired it out." And he did release the arrow, and it hit the bird's eye. But here's what, is the Arjuna, while he says that I'm seeing only bird's eye, is he really seeing only the bird's eye from his physical eyes? No. I have did a little of archery as well, and when you point your arrow with the string onto the target, what happens is your eyes can see other things, but your mental eye is on that target. So what he meant was, his focus was so aligned, the inner focus was aligned, that he was looking at that bird's eye. Because what happens is, if you are going to look only at the board side with the physical eyes, I'm sure you would be under pressure, you would have lot many things going across, and you would lose the focus. So that focus has to come from the innate one. So there are three things which that's why the resolutions doesn't work. And if you have to make your resolution work, I would say use your subconscious mind. And how do you do that? The subconscious mind is the emotional bubble. The more stronger the emotion goes across, the more binding it takes through. So for a business or for health or for any given goal, what's your life story for it? What's your cause? Why are you doing it? If that is really strong, that builds up the whole plot, and that builds resolution to go really stronger. If you want to get healthy and you find the reason, oh, I want to be healthy because I have a daughter, I have a son, and he wants me to be healthy, he's seeing me as my role model. Now that emotional connection is a lot stronger. Now you don't need motivation, daily motivation to get you gearing and get ready and move out for a workout. It comes innately. Just like, what do I mean by that? So I love cricket. Of course you can relate, being from this part of the world, cricket is really big. But how did I fell in love for cricket? One fine day, I must be about 7-8 years old, and I could recollect that first match when I saw it was India and Australia. And in 90s, Krishnamacharya Shrikant was really big, and I could see Krishnamacharya Shrikant bashing Australian bowlers across the park. And my grandfather, looking at Krishnamacharya Shrikant bashing it, he was going all gears. And that was the point. I was looking at the cricket, falling in love with Krishnamacharya's batting and cricket, and my grandfather, who was so excited for that whole thing. And I say, wow, one fine day I would like to play such a cricket. And that's where I fell in love. And then I went down to club. I played for club. I played for college. I played for state. I played for under 19. I played for good Mumbai League club tournaments. And that really set the tone. That's because, and the biggest point here is, so nobody asked me that, oh, Vishal, you have to get up early in the morning to go for your practice session. It came in really naturally. So if I had to get up early in the morning at 3:30 or 4, guess what? I just had to set a mental alarm. I have to get up at 3:30. I have my train to catch at around 4:30, and I have to get ready, travel 2 hours and go down and onto the ground. It was all enough. I would get up at the same point in time. But as the years pass, of course, if I had to go down to the office, it took a toll. That's because the subcon, what you like as and what is your life mission comes really handy. If something is coming from the emotional quotient, if something is coming from innately, it becomes a second nature. If something comes out from that inside, and find that purpose, find that passion that drives you, that's the biggest one. The second one, if you want to realize your resolution, I would say focus and priority. And the focus and priority comes, of course, from the innate one. And if you want to do it consciously, let's say you have to pick a reading habit and you're not interested in reading. Now, but you have to, because book reading is, of course, good. And now you have to pick that habit. So what do? You focus and prioritize. Maybe you can then use writing a journal. Oh, I would be reading the book daily, at least 2 pages, 3 pages, at least 1 chapter. And you would have to stick. And the moment you start looking at and focusing across, oh, I have to do that, and you show it up, things really change. Because now what happens is, with focus, also your priority comes up the list. Because ultimately, everybody has had certain amount of time, and everybody has 24 hours. So that's said and done. It's your priority that tells you what needs to be done right now. And if you do it right now, that happens. So I've seen people telling, oh, I would follow a certain schedule on 1st of the month, on next Monday, or coming Monday, or tomorrow. No, it's now. If you have to get healthy, it's now. If you have to achieve a goal and take that first step, it's now. If you can do it now, your focus and priority is set. I've seen people, oh, I want to leave alcohol. And oh, I would be leaving alcohol once this thing happens. Oh, I would get settled once I get married. Or I would do a certain thing after a certain... No. It's right now. It's now. I won't say never. It's now. And now becomes easier. It's definitely not never. Somehow. So the second thing comes across is focus and priority. The first one is innately what's the passion. The second one is focus and priority. The third one that comes across is, believe me, that's discipline. There is no other variant for discipline. If you have to consciously take an action, you would need certain amount of discipline. And people have said there is a 21-day theory, there is 7-day theory, there is a learning habit for specific hours. There is also, people say there is like 60 days of habit that you practice 60 days. I would say I've been 12 years and consistent on going to the workout, and I would say that it's good to do it for a certain period for sure. It gets the wheel rolling and you get into that rule to work out or to go on a peculiar task. But here's what, each day will be new. So you would have to find out a way for yourself to keep interested, to keep yourself motivated to go on. And at times being, okay, I would have to do this has to be taken care, and just being there. And the moment you start doing that, at some point in time, you would for sure fall in love. But being there and repeatedly doing things, and if you say, oh, that's not working, maybe you would have to change the way of doing. But ultimately, you would have to be disciplined enough. So if you have to ensure that your resolution works, that first thing comes across is using that subconscious mind, that emotional question, why am I doing it? I've seen people opening the restaurants and that business really closes in a while because you don't see a footfall. But what happens is, if you innately love that business, because business needs certain amount of sustenance, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you would need to take that patience. Somewhere it is going to be good, somewhere it is not so good, but eventually it would pick up. Of course, if it doesn't work for a prolonged period, you might have to change it. That's okay. But having said that, it's the love would ensure that you would sustain. And that is big. If you sustain for a certain amount of period, I'm sure you would be doing really good. Be it business or be it any goal or resolution to be taken. So the first one is, of course, subconscious. What's in that emotional question, why am I doing it? The second one is focus and priority, and the third one is, of course, the discipline. Now, how do you bind this all together? And that one thing which is important is X factor, the quantum physics, the subconscious mind. And how do you use that? The quantum physics says about energy. It's all about energy. If you raise your vibration, if you connect to that frequency, it's going to help you achieve and align that life. And how do we do that? The simple one is, of course, prayer. Pray, my friend, pray. For connecting to the prayer, you just need one thing, and that is breath. Focusing on breath would help you connect back to your inner self. And once you connect and pray in whichever form that you do it, and after prayers, ensure telling that, let my resolution be manifested by your will. And that really works. The one is prayer. Then ensure that you do the blessings. The third one, of course, that comes across is, one is prayer, blessings, and afterwards ensure that you do what I say. It's called as technique to achieve your resolution faster. And how do you use that? So let's say you want to achieve a resolution to manifest to buy a house in, let's say, in few months, let's say 6 months of time. I want to buy a house. So you want to take a resolution to buy a new house and to have a specific lifestyle. So now what you do is, you use the power of visualization, you use the power of imagination. That's one. The second one is, you use the power of your words. And how do you use your power of your words? The thing is, you got to close your eyes, imagine and visualize you're buying that house, getting into that house, feeling as if that house is yours. And once you be there, get your stronger will onto, yes, it's coming good and I'm buying that house. And afterwards, take that resolution by whichever God that you believe in, utter his name for about, if not about 21 times, and then say thank you. Again, you do the same thing. You imagine, you visualize, repeat the words, I've achieved to buy that house, I'm into that house, have that whole experience, and repeat the God's name for about 21 times. You repeat this cycle for the third time, and that's the way you take a specific resolution. If you want to learn more further on the resolution, I would suggest, I have my 2 days live workshop, and that would definitely help. But here's what on this channel that I could give you is, if you want to take that resolution, be sure that you have mental clarity, you visualize well, you use imagination, and once you get into that zone, close your eyes, repeat the words, let the feeling sink in, and once that feeling sinks in, take your God's name or whichever God that you believe about at least 21 times. Repeat this cycle for about 3 times, and with all the prayers and blessings, say thank you. And once it has been done, leave on it on the Almighty to get it done. But what you do your work. That is, why do I want to buy that house? What is your innate feeling? What is your innate emotion that makes you, that triggers you to get onto that house? Second one is about focus and priority. Prioritize buying your house over going on a fancy vacation or doing another things that is going to eat up your cash. So focus and priority comes real big. The third one comes down, of course, is taking that action. And I'm sure you would be taking the action because you have to work, then earn money. But you know what? If you take that resolution, you would find a way, and that's the X factor, you would find your way to manifest it sometimes magically. And you never know where it comes from. Do not think of how it is going to come. Just think it has come, and you would find a way. Let's say, for an example, you are at a certain income, you're earning, let's say, about 20 lakhs. That's about 2 million INR yearly. And now you have to buy a certain house at a certain price. Now it is far beyond maybe your budget, that is, I say, a down payment and then the loan. But you say, oh no, still I have to buy. And if you take this resolution, it might happen that you might be landing upon a new job that is going to give double the salary, or maybe you land upon a consulting assignment, or maybe you never know. It's good to experiment. I would say you might have your own judgments on resolution. You might have your own experiences on your judgment from friends, from family, from self. But I say it is never bad to do an experiment. It's never a harm to do an experiment. And I would for sure say that experiment, take that resolution and leave the rest, but you got to take action. Find your subconscious, your emotional quotient, get your focus and priority aligned, and take that action. With this, I wish you a very happy new year, a very strong, blessed year of 2026. May your resolution come real true with the speeding light of the divine blessings. And once you take this resolution, I'm sure it would come true, and it happens, and it will happen. So definitely tag me around, comment, like, and yeah, and prayers. Do pray for me. So with this, thank you very much.